Will the U.S. economy sink? That's the million-dollar question on everyone's minds. As we navigate through uncertain times, it's natural to ponder the potential outcomes and implications for the economy. While economic predictions can be tricky, exploring the factors that could contribute to a sinking economy can provide valuable insights. From the impact of global events to internal challenges, various elements come into play. So fasten your seatbelts as we delve into the possibilities and examine the factors that could potentially send the U.S. economy on a downward spiral. We will be joined by an American economist, lawyer, and author known for his work on financial markets and geopolitical dynamics. I'm talking about none other than Jim Rickards. Joining him in the discussion also are the couple and business partners, and are known as the authors of the popular book series, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki and Kim Kiyosaki.
To build. And the same thing's going on with semiconductor sanctions. And again, COVID made it worse, pandemic made it worse, and Ukraine made it worse. So we are where we are. But that's really the point. It's a complex dynamic system. You tweak one little bit and then it collapses over there. And everyone said, how did that happen? Well, the answer is that's how it happens.
Jim Rickards has mentioned two things in the snippet video showed you: the COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine-Russia fiasco. But how did these things become a reason for the U.S. economy to sink? Okay, so let us break this down in simple terms. Let us first talk about the pandemic. 2020 up until now has been a wild ride, hasn't it? The world was blindsided by a tiny, invisible enemy called the coronavirus. As it swept across the globe, it brought nations to their knees, both in terms of public health and the economy. In the United States, the pandemic has had a profound impact, leading to a wobbly stumble in the economy. But how exactly did this happen? Picture this: the pandemic hits, and suddenly, the world comes to a screeching halt. Schools close, businesses shut down, and travel restrictions are put in place. The impact on people's daily lives is immense. With businesses unable to operate as usual, employees are laid off or face reduced working hours, causing financial stress for many households. Furthermore, as businesses struggle to keep their doors open, a domino effect ensues. Small businesses, in particular, face immense challenges due to limited resources and the inability to adapt quickly. Restaurants, retail stores, and entertainment venues are hit hard, experiencing significant revenue losses or even permanent closures. These closures lead to job losses and reduced consumer spending, further exacerbating the economic downturn. The pandemic disrupts global supply chains, affecting industries that rely heavily on imports and exports. As countries implement lockdown measures and travel restrictions, the movement of goods and services is severely impacted. Supply chain disruptions can lead to shortages of essential products, higher prices, and reduced economic activity. For example, the automotive industry experienced challenges in sourcing necessary parts, leading to production delays and decreased sales. This happened because factories had to shut down, and getting products from one place to another became a logistical nightmare. It's like when the gears of a well-oiled machine suddenly get jammed, and everything slows down or stops altogether. Jim Rickards also mentioned about the fiasco that has happened between Ukraine and Russia. But really, how did it affect the U.S. economy? Here's how. It is not new how Russia and Ukraine have had a conflict. Russian forces continued to target civilian infrastructure with shelling, missile attacks, and drone strikes, killing over a dozen civilians in the Chernihiv, Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, Mykolaiv, Sumy, and Zaporizhia regions of Ukraine. And so, one significant aspect that has been affected by the Ukraine-Russia fiasco is the energy connection between the two nations. Russia is known for its vast reserves of natural gas, while Ukraine serves as a critical transit route for Russian gas to reach European markets. Any disruption or escalation of the conflict could potentially impact energy supplies and prices, reverberating throughout global markets. Also, geopolitical tensions have a knack for making financial markets jittery. When uncertainty looms, investors tend to become cautious and seek safe havens for their money. As the Ukraine-Russia fiasco unfolds, it could potentially impact global financial markets, including those in the United States. Another way the Ukraine-Russia fiasco could impact the U.S. economy is through trade disruptions and the ripple effect on global supply chains. If tensions escalate and economic sanctions or trade restrictions are imposed, it could disrupt trade flows between the involved parties and potentially spill over to impact international trade more broadly. The third thing that Rickards have mentioned that will sink the economy is
just saying trillion instead of billion, but about $9 trillion. And it's come down a little bit since then, but people say, well, wait a second, how can there be a dollar shortage or a liquidity crisis when the Fed printed $9 trillion? Well, the answer is you have to understand how the money system works and where real money creation comes from, and it does not come from the Fed, and here's why. The Fed did print the money, that's real. But the way they do it, the Fed buys bonds and treasury notes from the primary dealers, from the big banks. And they call up and offer me a 10-year note. Okay, here's the price, done. Goldman Sachs will send the 10-year note to the Fed, and the Fed pays for it with money that comes out of thin air. So that is money printing. It's as simple as that.
In this scenario, renowned economist Jim Rickards suggests that a dollar shortage or liquidity crisis could pose a threat to the U.S. economy. To understand why, let's take a closer look at the process of money creation and how it relates to the potential sinking of the U.S. economy. When the Federal Reserve, commonly known as the Fed, wants to inject more money into the economy, it follows a specific process. The Fed doesn't simply print stacks of dollar bills. Rather, it engages in open market operations. One such operation involves the purchase of bonds and treasury notes from primary dealers, which are typically large banks. By buying these financial instruments, the Fed injects new money into the system. While the Fed has the power to create money, the process isn't as simple as it may seem. The potential problem arises when there is a shortage of dollars, which means there isn't enough money available in the system to meet the demands of businesses and individuals. This shortage can lead to a liquidity crisis, where there's a scarcity of cash available for transactions, lending, and other economic activities. Why does a dollar shortage matter? A dollar shortage can have far-reaching consequences for the U.S. economy. Here are a few reasons why this scenario could be a cause for concern. Reduced consumer and business spending. When there's a shortage of dollars, individuals and businesses have less money available for spending. This can lead to a decline in consumer purchasing power and reduced business investment. As a result, businesses may struggle to generate revenue, leading to layoffs, reduced economic activity, and a downward spiral for the economy. For example, imagine a scenario where people have less money to spend on goods and services. As a result, retailers experience lower sales, leading them to reduce their orders from manufacturers. In turn, manufacturers may lay off workers or even shut down their operations, further exacerbating the economic downturn. For instance, consider a small business looking to expand its operations. If banks are facing a shortage of dollars, they may be more cautious in lending to businesses, making it harder for the small business to secure the necessary funds for growth. This limited access to credit can stifle entrepreneurship and hinder economic expansion. Disrupted international trade and investments. A dollar shortage can have implications beyond domestic borders. The U.S. dollar plays a crucial role in international trade and is widely used as a global reserve currency. If there's a shortage of dollars, it can disrupt international trade and investments, potentially leading to economic imbalances and frictions between countries. Support local businesses, fuel the economy by indulging in a little retail therapy, within reason of course, and unleash your entrepreneurial spirit. Remember, behind every successful economy, there are passionate individuals striving for greatness, one brilliant idea at a time. What do you think about this topic? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Finance Zoo channel.